YouTube. This is Sassy Presents here for another episode of Meet the Cosplayer. Today I have a lovely cosplayer here. This is Intraventus. Please give her a warm welcome and everyone, and feel free to make to chat about anything if you feel like asking any questions. And Intraventus, nice to meet you, and thank you for so much for for appearing for the interview tonight.
No problem.
So, I mean, we met at ColossalCon back in March, or was it April, I believe?
June? I think it was June. Colossal
Oh,
Cons. June.
June, right?
It was
And
sometime like beginning of the summer.
yeah, you had a very awesome Morgan cosplay, which is awesome. And thank you so much. I did videograph you for during for the cosplay music video, and it was awesome. It was awesome. Like ColossalCon is great. So, before we begin, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Um, I cosplay, obviously. I've been cosplaying since '08. I'm a stay-at-home mom and a waifu, and I love my life.
That's that's really good. So how many cons do you usually attend to every year?
Oh Lord. Probably somewhere in like the 8 to 10 range a year. It's usually almost one a month, almost, if not more than that.
I believe you were at the New York Comic Con last month, right? Or this month?
It was only.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Well, you were at New York Comic Con also, right? Recently.
Yeah, yeah. I actually went. I got to go for free because my friend she had bought a ticket for Friday, and the person she was going to take wasn't able to go anymore, and she was like, "Hey, come with me. It's basically a free trip paid." And I was like, "Yeah, let's do it."
So, so begin first question. So what got you into cosplay? Like when did you start cosplaying?
Well, I mean, I started cosplaying in like 2004 because there was this small like anime hangout gathering at, I don't know if everyone remembers, the old media play. It was like an old chain store of like just music and videos and video games and all that stuff. Anyways, they had like a cosplay gathering every Friday night, and my friend would go to it, and they had like you could cosplay to it and all that stuff, and like especially for the Halloween event. And I just remembered like doing these basic like costume closet cosplays, and that was a lot of fun. So
So do you make your costumes yourself, or do you?
yeah, no, definitely. I've definitely grown since the closet stage. Um, I make everything myself, unless I'll like maybe find like an article that I can alter. I've done that, but for the most part, I make it all from scratch.
Sorry,
So also, do you have a favorite cosplay that you like?
Favorite? Uh, Not really. I love everything I've ever cosplayed. It would be really really hard for me to pick a favorite.
hmm So let's hear. So how was your year like overall? At for all the cons this year. I mean, you must get a lot of fans and everything, and it must be like really busy going to every con and having a lot of photo shoots and everything. Tell me what that's like.
Um, it's actually really awesome. I have had a great year.
Reason it was like we're carrying.
I was a guest at AwesomeCon this year and met so many amazing people. I can't even think like how many awesome people I've met. I've been on so many photo shoots, so many cons. It's almost like a giant blur of just all the things I've done this year.
hmm
Yeah.
So so like in between like cons and everything, like do you usually plan on um what you like to dress up as, or do you have like a list of certain usually what inspires you to to whatever you want to cosplay as at different cons and everything?
Um, well, I have an album on my cosplay page, and it's got like over 100 something different cosplays I'd like to eventually do. Um, but I always make like a list of so many that I want to do for the year, and then I always wind up doing just like a handful because of budget reasons and whatnot. But I just cosplay what I love.
Nice. Do you have anything you're working on right now that you're actually playing for the next con that's coming up?
Yeah, actually, I'll be at NecoCon. Not this weekend. It's the weekend after that. And I'm actually working on it. I'll show you. I'm working on this custom like Daenerys Targaryen cosplay,
Oh yeah.
and like these are going to be shoulder, this armor set. So it's basically like an elegant dress with all this dragon stuff on it that I always envisioned Daenerys would wear. So
Nice. And so that'll be, when is NecoCon? I actually haven't checked.
It's like November 8th, that weekend of this is like the first weekend in November.
Nice. And so like you have everything all set for that and just ready to go for that, like by the time. Wow, actually that's November's next week, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm almost with it. I'm almost. And I have a Supersonico that I started back in like the summer sometime that I'd like to finish for it, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean,
Got the
I think I saw some pictures of your Supersonico on Facebook, and it was really good.
Yeah, that's like a little fun time thing that I did like spontaneously. This one's actually her like her Queen of Hearts outfit. That's really cute. Not just white lingerie.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering, it's like when you're at cons, what we talked about before, like do you always like arrange shoots with like fellow photographers and the people like do a lot of people contact you beforehand?
Yeah, I have having done this for so long, I have so many photographer friends that are just absolutely amazing. And, if they're going to the same con, usually they'll message me or I'll message them being like, hey, you going? And then they'll be like, yeah, let's do a shoot. So I'll kind of like list specific times I've got shoots. And then other than that, I'll just, roam around and make friends, and other photographers will grab me. And that's, it's just a bunch of networking.
So by far, do you have like a favorite con or anything?
Dragon Con.
Dragon Con?
Con is the best con.
Man, I actually really wanted to go to that this year, but I wasn't able to do like other personal issues. But how is it? I mean, I actually plan on going to the Dragon Con next year.
You should. It's really great.
Yeah.
It's basically a giant party that's just ongoing, nonstop. Everybody's in costume. Everybody's having fun. Like, it's wonderful because I think it's a really good mix between like adult themes, but still having all those like favorite, like I don't know, like you see Disney characters there, and you see like 80s characters, and like it's just a good mix of being an adult but still kind of having a lot of fun to the point where you're stupid, childish, and drunk. Like, it's a good mix of that.
Yeah, so it's not strictly an anime convention, am I right?
No, it's mostly like sci-fi, like pop culture. Yeah, it's a little bit of everything.
So, I forgot to ask you. Did I ask you what was your first anime convention that you went to again?
Oh no, my first con was Anime North.
Anime North?
Yeah, that's in Toronto, Canada.
Oh, how is that one? Actually, I heard about that, but I didn't get a chance to go to that. Is it like big and?
I think the time that I went, there was like 15,000 people, and that wasn't open. I could be wrong. I mean, it's been a while. Obviously, it was my first con, but I remember it being very big, and it got me hooked.
Well, did you go as a cosplayer when you first went?
Yeah, I did actually, but it was like It was another closet cosplay because it was my first time really, going to a con and not really seeing all the awesome things that people have made. So when I went, I was like, oh man, I can do that. I could be, I could costume like this. And I actually went as Integra Helsing from Helsing, and it was it was pretty bad. But at the time, she was my favorite character. So
Oh yeah, I mean like every time like I can see like people like watching a certain anime they're like inspired to because they really like that and it's just they want to represent or like their favorite anime. So that's perfectly fine and everything. I think it's really cool because my first anime convention was in Anime Boston, and it was like like when you first go to an anime convention, like how big it, like how awesome it is, and like you're just excited for it. It's like walking into like a candy store as a kid for the first time, right?
yeah, it really is. Like you're just like, oh my goodness, they look so amazing. Whoa, they look really cool too. Like it's I mean, and not only that, but being in like the dealer's room for the first time, I was like, wow, there's stuff that I can actually buy that's like fan based, and like I can buy art and like really, I can really enjoy my fandom even farther because I had no idea that stuff even existed.
Yeah, I mean like
Wait,
when
may
I
I have
first
a
saw
sip?
like the dealer's room was like that was even a bigger thing because like my eyes were just like popping wide open and I was just seeing so much anime merchandise and so much anime being sold. I was like this is so cool.
Exactly.
And nowadays like when you go to like different conventions like the even larger ones you see like anime like dealers rooms that are like 10 times the size of like the first one you see, which is like have you been
Uh,
to
I
Anime
have
Expo before?
I've never been to Anime
moderator.
Expo.
Oh, that whole thing is huge because it's like if you
Go,
like
go.
they have like two huge hallways and it takes almost like a day, half the day just to go through it. It's really it's
Oh my goodness.
I mean, if you have any plans on going to Anime Expo, that's like one of the biggest things there. It's like yeah, people wait in line there for hours, like just to of course just to get in the dealer's room. So they have to like make so it wraps around the building. So and it's it's pretty crazy.
That's crazy.
So so about the cosplayers, like when you first watch, I mean when you first see them the first time, do you ever like feel like yeah you say feel excited and everything, and just want to take a lot of pictures and everything?
Yeah, man, I gotta kill Orc.
I'm sorry. What was the question?
Like whenever like when first time when you take when you go on your first anime convention, when you see the cosplayers the first time, like the excitement and everything is that what kind of got you into the hobby
Yeah.
itself?
Like I mean, I just remember seeing people who had made some really cool costumes, and I was like, that looks really awesome. And I was always a creative kid growing up. Like I was always in the art school, like in all these classes and stuff. And like I just felt like that was going to really, it really appealed to me creatively. So I was just drawn to it immediately. And then of course, being a fan of all this fandom stuff, um, it just made me really want to do it, and it's fun.
Yeah, speaking of like favorite anime and everything, because I so some people like want to dress up as the current anime they watch. Is there an anime series that you're working on right now?
Actually, I was a bigger anime fan back in like high school and middle school and stuff, but lately I've fallen out of anime. I haven't really watched a whole lot. Just it doesn't really appeal to me as much as it used to. I've been more into like comic books and video games and sci-fi stuff as of late.
Nice. I mean, do you play video games yourself and everything?
Oh yeah.
So
Right
what?
now, like I said, I've been working on Destiny, but I've been playing Destiny for like months and months and months now, and it's just one of those games I'm constantly playing.
Yeah, I mean, like I know like you dress up as Morgan at Colossal Con. Do you like play a lot of like Darkstalkers as well, or?
I used to years ago. I really haven't played lately, just with everything else coming out. But she was always one of my favorite characters, like in a video game. Period. So
It's just,
Yeah, so Destiny. How? I mean, like I said, I really wanted to actually try that for a while, but what do you like about it? It's like it really, is it like really addicting and everything? Is it like
yeah, usually I'm not a first-person shooter type, gamer, but
so good.
it's just I guess the way the loot drops and like some of the hard stuff is actually really hard, and that
Someone just joined us.
it gets me pretty hooked. And like I've found people like I found other friends through Destiny playing, you know, that I raid with a lot, and yeah, it's pretty addicting.
Yeah, I mean, I've been playing like Diablo 3 for a bit, and
Love Diablo 3.
you played that too?
Yeah, I played it a lot when it was just like the vanilla Diablo 3, and then I bought the expansion
You
after
know,
that.
yeah, now it's like changed completely, isn't it? It feels like it's a totally different game.
Yeah, it's changed quite a bit.
You're trying, you're trying.
I still don't know like all of the loot. Like I've never been in the treasure goblin world where it's just all treasure goblins. I've
Yeah,
never get in there. I'm so mad.
really? Because I actually got in there a couple times, but it's not. I mean, do you still play Diablo, or are you kind of
It's been a couple months since I logged on
Yeah.
last, but
okay? Yeah,
yeah.
the treasure goblin room like is pretty fun. I mean, once you get into it, it's just like all just money and gold and treasure everywhere.
Yeah, that's the best.
Do you have like a favorite class you play as, or do you try them all?
I've got on that game, let me think. I've got the was it Demon Hunter was my first. Maxed out, like, oh my goodness. And then I made a witch. She was like the witch hat. I forget the class name. Sorceress?
Or sorcerer?
Wait, not the
Wizard.
wizard. Yeah, it's a wizard class. And then the last one I made was the Crusader when the expansion dropped and they like released the Crusader. So I got 3 characters on there.
Yeah, Demon Hunter is actually I think still my favorite. That was the first one I played as too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like when I play as like the Amazon, I think ranged might be my favorite class and everything. But I think it's really fun playing as a Demon Hunter because of all like the other stuff you can do, like traps and everything, lay out.
Yeah.
So so tell me a little bit more about let's see, sorry, brain fart.
That's okay.
Yeah, so you were at Comic Con, right? You were there you were there this month, but actually went there one time, but I know it was like also a really big convention, like on the East Coast and everything. Have you been to the other Comic Cons before too, like San Diego Comic Con or
I have not, no. I've always wanted to go to San Diego Comic Con, but it's just so expensive and like, yeah, West Coast cons are harder for me to get out to.
yeah? Do you mostly just do everything on the East Coast?
Yeah, usually, I mean, again, like I have to book plane tickets and all that jazz, and it's pretty hard.
Yeah,
I don't really know people that way, so it's kind of, I don't know. It's kind of like I like to stick right here.
yeah. I mean, like for
Great
you
race.
get a lot of people like for videographers as well. Do you work with a lot of well-known videographers too?
I mean, I've worked with a lot. Yeah. In the past, I've done stuff with Accent, and I've done stuff with MLZ Studios and
Yeah,
Beat Down
that.
Boogie, and like I've just done a lot of stuff with them too from the years of going to cons.
Do you still do them nowadays, like more recent cons? I know I did see MLZ and I believe Beat Down Boogie at Colossal Con this year too.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they usually like grab me for a small clip here and there.
This is all fucking abyss. What fucking invisible?
It's like
It took me like
how do you
30
never-
minutes.
I only met Axon once, just briefly at KatsuCon. I'm not sure if you've been there before or not.
Oh yeah, I've been to KatsuCon for like five years or so.
5 years? Yeah, I mean, he seems like a pretty nice guy. Like, what was the first time he actually videographed you?
I think the first time
Yeah.
that I can actually remember because he was getting really big at the time, and I was like, oh, that's
Is
him.
there a point to standing in the middle?
I was wearing my Witchblade, my Angelus from Witchblade, and he got that at Otakon one year. It was a couple years ago. I want to say that because I had recognized him I think I had worked with him before that, and I just didn't know like who he was. So
And then like, was it like really big when you saw like your video like on YouTube and everything, and it was just and, like all he does is just really amazing, I think, and he does really good work. It's I mean
yeah,
it's too bad he doesn't do anything anymore, but there's a lot of people that a lot of videographers that pick up where he left off too. To so let's go about do you want to talk about family life? What's it like? What do you do outside of the cons? Do you have any hobbies or anything, or do you do anything?
um, I mean, not really. Like, I make cosplay. That takes up a good chunk of time. And like I said, I play video games, which obviously takes up a good chunk of time. And I have a 1-year-old daughter that, takes up all of my time. So that's, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm a housewife and I am a nerd all in one giant package.
that's awesome. It's like usually like I mean see a lot of like be a lot of people there too, and like cosplaying and everything. I think it's really, I mean it's real awesome, and like being like into like video games too.
We'll make it.
Yeah.
So like as for future any other future for next year and everything, do you have like are you gonna be at the same cons and same cons for next like ColossalCon, Katsucon, and everything?
Probably. Like, I tend to stick to the same ones I've been going to just because I know what to expect. And, every now and then I'll go to a new con. Like, Colossal Con last year was my first
Oh really?
Colossal Con. So now I'm hooked, and I'm like, oh, now I have to go to this one every year. Yeah,
I didn't know.
I'll be there.
I didn't know that ColossalCon was your first that was your first ColossalCon. This was actually my second time there, but it's like what do you think? I mean, overall, like, do you usually go take a look at the panels? Actually, there isn't a whole lot of panels, but I think mostly everything was there. It's about the like the water parks and everything, and a lot of cosplay. Like cosplay is really big there too, and videography because of like the petting zoo and the water parks and everything.
Yeah, honestly, I did not step foot inside of the con, and I know that's awful.
All right, I got
Like,
this.
I legit spent the entire time
I got it.
like
I'm gonna smack her in
taking
the face.
photos, being photographed, being videoed, partying, and at the water park, and like I just did not find time to make it over to the con. I know it's crazy, but
I mean, it feels like a lot of the ColosCon is mostly involved outdoors with the with photography and cosplay. Because I know it's like a lot of the stuff like it's a little bit smaller compared to other cons, but I really think the water park and everything is really cool there. That's like one of the main catches over at ColossalCon.
yeah, like that was basically the whole reason why I went. Is because all my friends like they were like, yeah, that's a really good con. You should come, and the water park's there, and I was like, oh my goodness. So I basically just did that the entire weekend.
Yeah, and as for like other cons like Katsucon, I noticed like photography and everything is really big there too because of the gazebo area.
Yeah, I don't care about that.
I got it.
Honestly, I've never been photographed in the gazebo, and I really never care to because it's like, here's this landmark that, you're not a good cosplayer if you're not inside of it and all that junk. And I'm like, there's so many other places in the Gaylord Hotel that are way more beautiful than that gazebo is.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, below the gazebo, there's like all this like this
It,
atrium section where you can like have lots of different cosplays, not just that one big white section with the gazebo. I find it
exactly.
really hard to like take pictures because there's that gazebo area, right? And then everybody's just waiting in line, like photographers just waiting in line with cosplayers just to get into that one gazebo shot, which
It's
is
so crazy. I'd much rather spend my time walking around in like picking different locations because like you said there's all that foliage and like just the floors and the carpets and like the walls even are so pretty in the entire hotel, so there's really no reason to stand in line for a gazebo that you can go somewhere else to photograph. So
yeah, I
I don't
agree
have time with
completely.
it.
I mean, the entire hotel in the front is like a huge atrium, right? Like almost like a giant what do they call it? Uh, I don't know. The thoughts slip my mind, but it's like the ceiling's like all glass and everything, so you can just see
Yeah,
outside
yeah.
too.
Hmm.
but not even just inside. But if you go outside, there's like a little beach area too where you can actually take photos and like videograph as well.
Yeah, there's I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be Neptune, and he's like ah.
Oh, you've been to that section.
Yeah, it was like the first thing I saw when I went to Katsucon my first year. Like me and my friends were taking stupid photos with it. But yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I actually did a little bit of video over there too, but I thought it was an interesting sculpture and everything.
Yeah, it is really cool.
We're dead.
But it's cool. I mean, like you get Washington D.C. and then you have this one little section that's kind of like section of it's mostly convention, and there's all shops and everything, strictly for whatever's going on like in that convention area, which is really neat.
Yeah, I like that too.
But another thing is I feel like Katsucon, like for photographers, there's like the security there has just gotten a little bit kind of like I'm not sure if it's always been like that, but they're kind of like strict, as in they wouldn't like if you go into certain areas of the convention center, they wouldn't let you bring like anything bigger for like huge camera equipment and everything.
Yeah, I really don't know the whole story on that because I've heard so many stories. But I remember getting yelled at a lot last year. I wore a Janna from League of Legends on Friday, and like I would barely step in like the soil slash flower area, and like I would get yelled at by some security person that's there, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. And then Saturday I saw like everybody playing in the flowers in the dirt basically, and I was like, well, way to be consistent.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because if you look at the photographs and the videos, it looks so much so fun to like go to. But then when you're actually there, it's hard to like imagine that you're just getting flagged down by security and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
But also like I think some this year like I saw like some cosplayers at CosCon like who are dressed up as Kill la Kill characters. They also got like a warning from like security for I think because the costume was a little too risque for con.
Yeah, I've gotten that a few times, but not at Katsucon. They're usually pretty tolerant of that, usually.
Also, but at least with Colossicon, like it's a little more like they're a little bit more uh like not as like uptight and everything because everybody like because the water park, and I suppose that's why with the cosplay shoots and everything it all works out.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's like in a bathing suit practically, so it's really hard to be strict about, bathing suit stuff.
Yeah, it's a really fun place. I mean, for ColossalCon, I just see a lot of people just going around. I see like people like walking with these huge drinks too that they like serve over there too. Like everybody has that. I was like, wow, they don't do this at other cons.
They do it at Dragon Con. Dragon Con
Okay,
is a big
buckle
drinking
down.
con. But yeah, Colossal Con
Where's
is probably
our
the only
jumper?
other con that I've seen that at.
I got killed.
Yeah.
It's what-
What about I forgot to ask. Have you been
Alright.
to Otakon as well, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, for years.
Otakon's
and
like yeah, that's like also one of the biggest maybe the biggest convention on the East Coast.
I think it's
I
like
don't
the
know.
biggest anime
I got the
convention on the
relic.
East Coast because I know Dragon Con is like a ton bigger than Otakon. And same with New York Comic Con. New York Comic Con is really, really, really large.
Yeah, I only been there once, but I think Otakon's almost like the same size and everything, right?
Otakon is like, I think it was 35,000 last year, and then like New York Comic Con, it's like 100,000 plus.
Oh,
So there's definitely, yeah,
my bad.
it's definitely a big size difference.
Okay, I guess I gotta get my eyes checked because I totally just like screwed that one up.
I think it feels very similar because like the venue in Baltimore for Otakon is kind of cramped. I mean, it's not like super cramped, but for the size that it is, it feels like there's a lot of people.
Yeah. What do you like about Otakon? Is there anything that what's anything that's what you have like anything that you like a lot about favorite attractions or anything like the Inner Harbor area or the venue itself?
Otakon's been very interesting for me because it's the only con I've been mugged at. And I've been followed quite a few times back to my hotel from Otakon. the Inner Harbor is a nice area, but like I always get really scared being there.
Yeah,
Um, and then like Otakon has just changed for me in some years because I really used to look forward to it, and now it's kind of one of those cons where I'm like, if I've got the money to go, it's like right here because I live pretty close by it. I'll go, but it I don't know. It's just changed a lot in the past few years.
I agree too. I mean, a few years ago, I think it was a little less crowded, but I think nowadays, um, conventions are getting more popular, and it's just really, it's like I think it's like hard to move around because everything's becoming like I know it's like for concerts and everything, like some of these cons like Otakon, I think didn't charge an extra amount for tickets, but now I think last year they did like charge you money just to go see a concert, right?
I did not go to the concert. I'm not sure, but I know the tickets were like $100, and for Otakon, I'm just kind of like, I don't really feel like spending that kind of money. I mean, I got to go last year because my one friend, she works at Otakon, so she got me a badge for free. But
Yeah, maybe not.
yeah, Otakon's just changed, and I'm not. I feel like there's better cons out there to go to, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Otakon. I mean, Otakon is also. I mean, it is the biggest con. I mean, I mean, to miss that out is just kind of. Is like is like if you miss on the biggest con, it's like you're kind of missing out like a big portion of the year when you're like cosplaying or just want to just go to cons in general.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a con I can miss. I'm okay with that.
So, so
Um,
another question like I see somebody in the chat room like asking about is it says something about Batman versus Predator. Somebody asked, it's like I know that's like a comic and everything. Have you read that one before?
I actually have not read that one. No.
Yeah, I know it was like a video game like a while back. I think I've seen it before, but I mean, I guess what do you think of those versus things? Like I know recently there's a new movie with like Batman versus Superman coming out, but what are your thoughts on that?
Like random fandom versus random fandom.
Yeah,
Like I actually really like it because I mean, where else are you going to see something like that
yeah,
unless somebody creates it? You know what I mean? Like you can have like, oh man, what would happen if this person goes up against this person? And if there's a video game or a movie or comic or something about it, I mean, that's pretty cool.
yeah. I mean, are you a fan of movies and everything like Marvel movies or any of the movies that came out recently?
Oh yeah, yeah. Recent Most recent movie I went to go see, I think it's been a while. I went to go see Mad Max, and that was a while ago. I think that was the last movie I went to go see in theaters, and that was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, how about like the Avengers movie that came out over the
Yeah, I
past
saw that in theaters opening night. Yep.
So, are you a big Marvel fan or a big DC fan when we're talking comics?
Marvel, hands down.
Yeah, I see. I feel like DC does have some nice, good movies out, but Marvel just seems to just be pumping those out every year.
Yeah, not only that, I just
hold on, don't
like
start it.
I've tried
Don't start it. I gotta pull something out, bro.
I've tried like explaining this to other people when they're like, "Well, why do you like Marvel more than DC?" And I'm like, "Well, Marvel has a lot more relatable instances with their characters. Like you can actually relate to these characters more than you can with DC characters."
Hmm.
Um, I just feel like DC characters are written very flat sometimes, and I just like some of the situations that they're put into is obviously like comic level story, whereas like Ms. Marvel, she was an alcoholic. Like people can relate to that, and like just some of the instances that these characters go through, and it's just way more relatable. So I think that's why I like Marvel more than
Yeah, I
DC.
agree. I mean, I haven't read a whole lot of Marvel stuff, but that's interesting because I didn't think about about a lot of real life stuff that was in comics that they actually put in that they put in. I mean, DC Comics, I noticed like a lot of the places that it take places like in fictional places like Gotham City or Metropolis, but like things like Spider-Man, everything they actually take place in supposedly real world places like New York or anywhere else.
Yeah. I mean, and I know some people have argued with me, like, well, DC characters, they've gotten into drugs and they've done all this stuff. And I'm like, well, yeah, but, like, they make it seem like it's a fictional issue. Like, I feel like Marvel is very down to earth with the way they try to portray these problems with their characters. So,
I agree. Like Batman can be really gritty sometimes, but it's just like Batman, Superman. It just feels like it's kind of like in its own little, its own little like world in a way.
yeah. And I guess, in a way, there's something to like about that, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, well, Marvel's better.
Yeah. Do you think you're gonna watch the Batman versus Superman movie that's coming out?
I mean, I'll probably go and see it. I know my husband really wants to go see it. I'm kind of like, yeah, I'll go, but I'm not like looking forward to it particularly. But,
Yeah, I mean, like I thought it's interesting because a lot of people were kind of skeptical having Ben Affleck being announced as Batman because I really
yeah,
thought him because the last superhero movies was in Daredevil, I think.
yeah, he's Daredevil.
But I mean, that movie was okay. I mean, it was like it kind of got slammed by critics in the theaters, but then it's interesting because when they released it on DVD, they like fixed a lot of things. But I thought it was an alright movie.
Yeah, no, I think he did a good job with Daredevil. And I think he'll do a pretty good job with Batman. I mean, seeing the previews and everything, he seemed like he was that dark character that, a lot of people like Batman as, he's not the comical Batman from like, the 90s movies that came out.
Oh yeah, or like I mean, like there's a cult following of like the classic TV series of Batman.
Yeah.
With Adam West and everything.
Yeah. I mean, I like my 90s Batman movies, and some people give them so much shit because they were kind of terrible. But at the same time, like, I love them because they're terrible. Like, I grew up with movies.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like a lot of the stereotypes for Batman nowadays comes from like the Batman Begins, but like the way he has like a really raspy voice compared to like back when Michael Keaton did Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the first Batman movie, I think it was really good. The Tim Burton version.
Yeah. I think he did a really good job.
Come in, get a break here, and
it feels like people have just forgotten about the old Batman movies once like the new ones came out.
Yeah, I mean, people prefer, Nolan's Batman, but I actually like the older, the 90s stuff. Because it was so bad, but that was the Batman I grew up with,
Yeah, I mean, like, there was like, first you got like Michael Keaton, and then you got Val Kilmer was Batman, like in Batman Forever and everything.
And George Clooney.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people criticized George Clooney's Batman. It was like, were you at New York Comic Con last year or something?
I was not, no.
Oh, okay, because I think George Clooney like was there last year, and they kind of made a joke about like how Adam West like apologized to like George Clooney about him being Batman or something like that. How like he got like a yeah, but I think it was just part of the joke there.
Known as the Batman nipples.
But was it really Batman and Robin that did that?
Yeah, it was Batman and Robin, that movie, and it was like George Clooney and they both had bat nipples.
Oh man. Yeah. As for like I mean the last movie that the last Marvel movie I saw was I think Ant-Man. Did you see that one?
I actually didn't go and see that one. Something had come up, and then I just lost track when it was in theaters, and yeah, I'm just waiting for it to come out on DVD now. So
yeah,
give it a watch.
I thought it was actually pretty good.
Yeah, I've heard like so many good things about it, and I was like, darn, why didn't I try to be more proactive to go see that?
Yeah, I mean, like the thing with like people with superpowers. At least you have one like you have like people like Thor and like Spider-Man with like all these amazing powers, but then you get like a guy with a suit that's like almost like the opposite of Iron Man that just turns into the size of an ant, but has like a power of like 10 men or something, which is really neat.
Yeah.
Here's my guy.
That's cool. I was very worried that they were going to take, the wife beater Hitman, but I hear this one's very like family friendly and has a good family story to it.
Yeah, I agree too. That's like also something that you see a lot. And same thing with like Iron Man. There's like Tony Stark has his own personal issues to worry about, and same thing with like Spider Man, which I think that what makes it like really it just kind of keeps you like interested in because they're not just like some superficial superhero that just goes around. They have like everyday lives and everything.
Yeah, like I really like that they have
Scratching fool off the
that
fucking
human
line.
aspect to them. Like they have problems that you know, like you and I can have, and you know, we're not. I don't know. We're not flat like any DC character tends to be.
Yeah. Well, we're like speaking of versus stuff too. Like I know like if you like Darkstalkers, I'm sure you probably play like those games like Marvel versus Capcom and everything because it has like both Darkstalkers and Marvel, which is like that was really big at the time because you see a collaboration with like Street Fighter and then Marvel and everything, which is a really I think it's really cool.
Yeah, no, I love those games. I remember when Marvel vs. Capcom 2 was like super, super hard and rare to find.
Yeah, I was actually I'm gonna have to actually go buy one of those for like $80.
Yeah,
And then I found out they were actually going to put it on the PS3. I was like, okay, so the value of it just gone down to almost 30.
yeah, exactly.
You guys also literally watch it if you know, friends are really into it.
But those games are really fun and everything.
Oh yeah.
So so nowadays, I mean, are you is there you say you're into comics and stuff. Are you like reading a whole bunch of comic series or are you just mostly focusing on one series like X-Men or Daredevil or anything?
Well, I was reading the Captain Marvel series, but you know, a lot of things have been going on. Like I moved recently, and like just life has kind of gotten in the way for me going to the comic store and picking up all the back issues from when it come out. But other than that, I haven't really read anything super recently.
That was cool.
Mm-hmm. So you always lived on the East Coast?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, like, it must be like really tough, like moving and everything, because like, yeah, it's because you're like packing. Because recently, like I mentioned, I used to live on the East Coast myself, and coming to Vegas is different because there's like a huge like time gap, a 3 hour difference. So it's hard to like keep track of my old friends and everything. But
Oh my gosh. So okay, you live in Vegas?
yes, I moved to like the West Coast in Las Vegas, so like right now there's like lots of conventions going on here too, and that's kind of like what I'm planning on doing now is just to see if I can see the conventions that are based in Vegas and like photograph and videograph those too.
Yeah, I actually went to Vegas for my first time this year, helping out a friend support his YouTube channel. He's
Yeah.
like, "Hey, come with me and come help," and I was like, "Sure, yeah, I'll come." And Vegas is awesome. Like, I had a really great time.
Boogers. Dude, I saw a
I
video.
think it was for Wizard World Vegas.
Pulling like the biggest booger.
So that's a Comic Con, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what? So when did you come to Vegas? Was it during the summer or is it
I think it was April.
Okay.
Sometime in April. Like it was just starting to get really hot. Like I could tell the heat there was just starting.
The weather here can be yeah, the weather here can be pretty crazy. I mean, all the way through October, it's been almost like 89 degrees still here.
That's awesome. I'm jealous.
Really?
Yeah, it's been like 50s and rainy and cruddy here.
I don't know. I never thought I would actually miss the snow and everything sometimes because I like every day was like so hot, 9 degrees, and so dry. I was like, oh man, I wish it'd rain a little bit. And then it was like, and then it was like all the way till like now. It was like we're still like getting almost 80 sometimes, but it's starting to cool down a bit.
Yeah.
But do you have anything? What do you like about anything about Vegas? You like? Do you ever go to the casinos or anything, or where'd you stay? Is it did you stay like on the strip?
Yeah. We stayed at the one that looks like a castle. I forget the name of it.
Excalibur.
Yeah, we stayed at Excalibur, and then we moved to Meridian Bay, I think, like the other last night. And we got like this huge suite that had like a hot tub, and like it was so much fun.
Yeah, I think that was the thing that's cool about it. It's like when we first go to Vegas, it's just really it's like going to your first anime convention. This is how grand it is and everything.
Oh my goodness, there was like, again, there's just so much going on that I was like, I have no idea what to do because there's just so much stuff. And like the last day, I was out by the pool.
Shut up, I got nothing from that.
I think it was Meridian Bay that has the pool outside. But I got like super sunburned because I was like, la la la, I don't know about the ozone layer over here.
Like, back in when I was in like back in a few years back when I came here around July, it was like 120 degrees here during the afternoon.
It wasn't quite that hot, but it was. I could definitely feel my skin burning, and I was like, okay, yeah. And then I got sun poisoning for the flight home, and that was nuts.
Oh jeez, I hope you're okay. I mean, glad you're okay and everything.
It's fine. It was miserable.
Yeah, I mean, getting sunburned. I got a nasty sunburn on my first Colossal Con because I was out outside all day just filming and like videographing. And then I just realized like my skin was so itchy. And I was like looking in the mirror. I was like, "Whoa!" I'm like all completely red.
Yeah, sunburn just sneaks up on you. I swear.
Yeah, but yeah, coming in Vegas is just it's pretty crazy. Like, say if you get like come in the middle of summer, you can't really stay out for more like maybe 20 minutes because of the heat and everything.
Yeah, like I just should have went inside sooner because I was so red.
Yeah, I mean, at least you weren't like hopefully it didn't really affect your any cosplaying at that time because of sunburn or anything.
And it was so weird because I wasn't outside for that long. It was like, I don't know, like a couple hours. But you could tell the sun was in one area because like it was just like almost half of my body was super red and it turned into a tan. So it was like I was so lopsided for a while with my tan this year.
But you look great at the ColossCon this year. I mean that was in June, so
yeah,
it's been like
I guess I managed to even out. So
like recover from it. Yeah. Do you think you'll actually cosplay? Are you gonna cosplay as Morgan again at another con this year, or you do like one cosplay and you just switch to another one? After?
Yeah, like I've cosplayed Morgan a few times. Like I really want to do a super accurate, like very gravity defying, if possible, Morgan in the future. But for right now, I'm probably just gonna put her on hold and yeah.
Yeah, I mean also, um, as for other cosplays, like do you also model as well, or is it mostly just cosplay modeling for cosplay only?
Oh yeah, I do modeling outside of cosplay. Usually it's like conceptual, sometimes like boudoir-ish stuff, fashion.
Oh, that's cool. I mean, like, so do you just so as for like fashion goes, it's like uh, do you just go for like casual or more like I'm saying mostly casual shots or more like what am I trying to say what kind of shoots do you usually like do you like to do like when you're modeling and everything if it's not cosplay?
Honestly, I'm always open to things. Like if a photographer comes to me and approaches me and says, "This is what I'm kind of looking for. What can we do?" I'm always like open to hearing what they'd like to do. So I really do a range of stuff. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's it like working with photographers? Is it do you usually like are you usually really is it really easy to like coordinate with them and everything like when you're working with them?
Oh yeah. I mean, I really haven't had too many bad experiences with photographers just because, most of the people I work with, I've worked with, like, for a long while, or, I've worked with them before, and I'm not against with working with new photographers, but, like, I actually like working with new photographers because you can always meet, new stuff, new people, but, no, I've never had any bad instances with anything like that. But photographers are just as chill as cosplayers are for the most part.
That's what I did like about like some conventions. Like there's like photographers and videographers that just chill and meet up and do stuff like in one area.
Yeah.
Superior race.
Yeah, it's like
it's so cool.
yeah. I mean, do you usually hang out with them a lot, or do you like when you're at conventions, or do you just mostly do you like have any fellow cosplayers that you usually that you chill with?
This hunter.
Oh my goodness.
They
There's
tried
so
to push
many
me
people I
to death.
wouldn't even be able to like begin to list. Um, yeah, I feel like if I were to even start listing, I'd like forget like
It's good to know.
half of the people I usually hang out with.
Another hunter.
But yeah, I hang out with a lot of photographers and a lot of cosplayers. We've just, we've been doing this for so long that we just get to know everybody, and it's become like this community where everyone just knows each other, and if you don't, you're soon going to, like...
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, I mean, I seen you hang out with Beatdown Boogie a lot too.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah, I've known them for a long time. Micah had approached me. He does a lot of the filming for Beatdown Boogie. He came and approached me, I don't know, like 2011, somewhere around there, when they were doing like their modern warfare ghost stuff with yeah.
Is it the one with the Mario Warfare or something? Or?
No, that's like their new series. It was the one where it was Ghost from Call of Duty and Snake from Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, I met the actor that played as Snake from Metal Gear Solid. I think it's Matt, I believe.
Matt. Yep, Matt's pretty cool.
Yeah, he's a really nice guy.
Yeah, I was in one of their videos as like a hot chick. Back in like it was a couple years ago. It was fun.
I'm really tired of this. I'm a hunter. Slide shot.
I think
it was like a Modern Warfare 3 starring Ghost or something like that, and it's fun stuff.
Yeah, they're like their last year their ColosCon video was pretty nice too. It was just like with like Snake, like old Snake, just like going to like doing different things at ColosCon.
Yeah.
Did you actually work
really well? I'm so happy for all of them. They really deserve, what they have. Like they're just such good people.
Yeah. Sometimes like it's kind of funny because I think I only met like a couple people from Beatdown Boogie before, and I spoke with Matt, but I don't know like who was the guy who actually started Beatdown Boogie.
Well, there's Matt and Brian. They do a lot of stuff. And then Micah's in it sometimes. I mean, they have a full cast, really. I mean, they've got so many people that do videos with them. But yeah, Matt, Brian, and Micah are like super core to their series.
Yeah, and MLZ, I've seen him a couple of times, but I actually haven't got to chat with him a whole lot too, because he's always busy like filming and everything.
It's a metal slug.
First time I met him was like, again, a few years ago. And I did this Trinity Blood cosplay, and I don't even think he was like really known yet either. And he's like, "Can I video you?" And I was like, "Of course, yeah." So it's just crazy how like you meet people and then you see them just blossom and become like really well known.
Yeah, I mean, over in like ColosCon, there's like quite a few videographers that I met that are from Canada as well. And
cool.
Like, yeah, I seen like do work, and I was like, it's like wow. At first, sometimes I thought they just started, but then when I look at their channel, look at their work, it's just amazing what they do, and that's really what I like about like why I pretty much try to do like do something similar to that, or maybe something a little bit different too sometimes.
Yeah, I think it's like you can really admire somebody's work, but at the same time, like don't copy anything that they do, or just like add your own into it. Like it's really. I think the same thing with cosplayers. Like I've seen people straight up like rip cosplays from other people, like ideas and completely original ideas, and it's kind of sad. Like as a cosplayer and as an artist, you can always add in your own personal concept or something. Like you can always do your own thing, and it still will look amazing. So I just yeah.
Definitely. I mean, like I feel like I like the quality the accent does, but I just feel like if I copy, it might be like it just wouldn't be any different. So that's why I try to.
Yeah. Like it's totally cool to be influenced by somebody's work. Like there's so many good cosplayers out there. They're just so influential, but at the same time, you want to make sure that there's a big piece of you in that. Like it's all you,
Especially with the,
Mhm.
it was blatantly obvious when they put out the contracts
Yeah.
for
So I guess we're
Stormcaller.
almost near the end of the near the end of the interview and everything. But
Oh,
was
yeah,
there
it's gonna work.
was there
Slide
anything?
shotgun in them.
So
Yeah,
I guess
there
we
you go.
talked about this earlier that the next convention that you're going to, which be NecoCon, I believe, right?
They
Yeah, yeah.
literally just gave them
Hmm.
a shotgun.
And would that be? I remember that it's a Supersonico, I believe, that you're cosplaying.
I'm trying
Yeah,
to
I
get that
know.
one finished.
And then
It's kind
And
of
well
cold
aware.
in that area. Like during this time of year, it's kind of
But
cold
you
for
know
that
what's gonna
outfit,
get
so
nerfed
it's a
from that
maybe.
time?
but
um,
Daenerys is definitely the
yeah,
one.
she's definitely going to be done for that, and I'm probably going to be bringing.
It's not that broken.
We
It's
have a
super that
giant
makes them
Firefly group,
super durable.
and then we've got a
You know, all the
giant
supers are made to
archer
basically
group.
just turn you into a
Honey.
one killing machine.
Goodness, shh.
Like really, it's like Destiny, right?
Yeah, Destiny just makes you so loud.
It's like I really gotta get that game.
You should come play with us.
I know. It's like you gotta tell me what it's like what your screen name too, so I can join you sometimes. Actually,
Yeah, we still play on the 360. Like we have Xbox One, but most of our friends play on the 360 still, so that's what we have it for.
will the PS3 can I be able to connect with a PS3 to like a 360 then? If I have a
I have PS3 also, but I don't have that many games for it.
oh yeah, I mean same with for for Daenerys, I guess you're probably like watching Game of Thrones now too, right?
Oh yeah.
I've been wanting to watch that series. Is it really addicting too? It's like
Do it, watch it, your life will be changed forever.
is it like enough I can it's so like addicting would you like want to marathon it and everything?
Yes. So save a few days aside. Put a few days aside. Just marathon Game of Thrones because you're gonna want to.
Oh man. All right, I gotta start watching that series. I see like some. I see a lot of like good cosplayers around with like doing like Daenerys or anything else, the characters too, and they're like talking about other stuff like other terms in the in Game of Thrones that I never understood. Something about uh like Valor Morgulis or something. I was like, what does that mean? So I looked it up. I was like, oh, it's from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, you'll get it when you watch it or read the books. I mean, you'll get that then
Fuck
too.
that grenade.
Yeah, it's cool because I didn't realize Daenerys is actually Sarah Connor from the new Terminator too. I was like, oh wait a minute, it's the
Yeah,
same actress.
she was named like the sexiest woman of the year or something like that too. Like, go her.
Nice. It's like, is she from England or is she British?
I actually don't know much about her like personally. I mean, I just watch her in Game of Thrones. I really don't know where she's from.
Yeah, because I thought it's like, wow, she really got that accent well if she wasn't from America. But then there's Peter Dinklage that I think he's American too, but he actually does pretty well doing getting the accent done as well. I think seeing from like the previews and stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's great in that series.
Man, I gotta start watching that one. And so, after that, will that after NecoCon, will that be the end of will that be the end of all the cons for this year, or do you have any other ones playing for
Yeah.
the holidays?
NecoCon is the last con I go to, and then there's nothing until KatsuCon. So,
Ooh, okay,
but I mean, I've got some big projects I'll be working on for KatsuCon, so I need that time.
definitely. How long does it take for you to assemble a costume and everything?
Oh, it depends on the costume, really. Um, I did a Dragon Slayer Pantheon, which I wore to KatsuCon last year, and I worked on that thing like every day, and it took me about 3 weeks to complete.
Fucking bullshit.
So nothing like that takes only more than a month or anything. Or was that?
Usually costumes take about a month. I mean, if they're really like detailed, about a month and a half, or if they're really simple, a week. It depends on how much time I feel like putting into it that day, that week, that month.
Oh yeah, what's I was gonna ask you, what's your favorite part of like making costumes? Is it like do you get really into the zone and just like start like just working on it? It's like kind of like Just like
Yeah,
your baby for that entire month until you get to the next con and everything.
yeah. Basically, like I just get inspired every now and then, and I need to like release that creative juice that I have built up, and I pour it all over the cosplay. Um, yeah.
So you see a few people entering the chat room here.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Huh.
we just like we were just like just hanging, or just chatting. I was gonna ask if there's anybody had any questions, they can type it in, but I guess only just a few people.
Well, yeah. If they have any questions, I'm down to answer.
Yeah.
Again, as long as it's nothing like super pervy.
Of course not. It's like I'll make sure nobody's gonna ask something like that or on air. No
It's
way.
okay to ask it, but I probably won't answer.
Yeah, definitely. So I wonder if we can actually mod it here, but actually I haven't tried the chat room. But I was wondering, do you stream games or anything?
I have a Twitch channel, like, and I've been slowly like adding crap to it to try to one day Twitch and stream, but it's like I have so much stuff going on in my life. It's really hard to actually set a time, set dates, and all that, and actually be on for that, on time and all that stuff. Because I've got a little one, and I've got a family, and I've got cosplay things and other things that I need to take care of. So it's really really hard to actually get a good schedule down and be able to do that.
Yeah, you got really handed those people that actually like stream like for hours a day because that takes a lot of dedication in there to do that.
Yeah, kudos to them because I mean, if I didn't have as many obligations as I do, I probably would be able to do it like no problem. But I've got a life.
Oh, definitely. It's like that's more important than everything.
Yeah. So maybe soon when things calm down a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, same thing with YouTube now has I think their own streaming channel, but I've been hearing stuff about like now they have like a paid service with less ads, which was kind of interesting. I mean, I never thought I'd be paying for a subscription on YouTube, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I don't know about that.
yeah, it's called
Hmm.
like YouTube Red, which is I thought it was interesting. It's like so less ads, but you have to so you're paying just to have less ads. But I guess that's sort of like common nowadays.
Yeah, yeah, with a lot of things, definitely.
All right. Well, I think that should be wrapping up the interview for tonight. But Intraventus, thank you again. And also, before we leave, is there a web page that you want me that you want to we can find you at or anything, or is it most of your Facebook page?
It's mostly my Facebook page. I mean, I do have an Instagram. I have Twitter, but I'm really, 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 really bad with Twitter because I don't understand how it works. um, and yeah, I have the Twitch channel that I have yet to stream on. Yeah, mostly my Facebook page.
Okay. So, like, if people like fans are able to find you, it would be most of your Facebook page and everything.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Sounds good. Well, once again, I'll put the link on the for Intraventus's webpage on the bottom of the comments section. But for now, everything. Thank you again, Intraventus, for appearing on the show. And I know it's a little bit late going on because of the huge time difference and everything.
Oh no, that's okay. Thanks for having me.
All right. And once again, guys, stay tuned. I'll be after this interview. I'll be posting the full interview. Just maybe edit some parts out within a day or so afterwards. But until then, everybody, and have a good night.
Bye.